Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course, the Portugal Club, where we will go this morning to ask the Portuguese citizenship test question number 55. We're on to 55. We've got a beautiful video from Nick this morning. Let me just turn my phone down. Let's make sure you're okay as well after the extraordinary weather we've been experiencing here in Portugal. Been outrageous, isn't it? A tornado, a reported tornado here in Portugal in the south, in the Algarve, that devastated a holiday park. And yes, at least I think 3 fatalities over the last week or so of Storm Claudia, and people injured as well, of course, by the tornado and the extreme weather. So I trust you're okay, and please let us know that you are. And send in cheerful things on 913-590-303. I've got something cheerful for you. This is this fella's doing a great job. He's a Portuguese presidential candidate. His name is Senhor Vieira, and he's got some great policy ideas. Here's one of them.
Querem vinho na torneira? Votem no Vieira.
Vote for Vieira, because he's suggesting we might have Portuguese wine. I'm guessing. I'm assuming that Portuguese wine coming through the tap in every Portuguese household. He wants us all to have Ferraris as well, and he's got an interesting. I don't know what it would be. It's not really diversity. He's talking about a monoculture of people having pigmented skin through a program of fornication, whereby the Portuguese people breed such that their skin pigment becomes. I think it's a unifying gesture that we all become the same color ultimately. He says it can be done through scientific means, or it can be done through fornication, the latter of which he recommends and suggests to people. He's an interesting character. Isn't it nice to know that there's still some humour in politics? It reminds me of the monster raving loony party in the UK. And isn't it great to have some outlying fringe characters who clearly aren't taking things too seriously here in Portugal in the run-up to the Portuguese presidential election, which of course happens, isn't it the 18th that we discovered that the Portuguese are having their presidential election, the last of many elections in this last year or a few months since. Was it July, I think, when we had the general election? Wasn't it? I forget now. It's just been this sort of high-octane political atmosphere for ages now, and I don't know. I was going to say it will calm down in January when the presidential election has been concluded, but maybe it won't. I predict. Certainly there won't. There shouldn't be. I guess there could be another snap election, but it may go calm on that front. But I suspect there'll be quite a lot of meaty issues to deal with for Portuguese society in the next few years, as I suspect there will be all across Europe and the rest of the world. Right, quizzes and questions. I'm just adding the category for the Portuguese citizenship test question 55, which I'm delighted to bring to your attention. If I share the screen now, we've got another great new video from Nick. We've got a lovely video from Lonnie. Remember we spoke to Lonnie and his co-exhibitor up there in Porto. I've got a lovely little wander around point of view POV video wandering around the exhibition, so I want to share that with you as well. And Vitor Costa joining us, our man in the north. Vitor Costa joining us at when is it? 9:20, 8:20, 8:30 this morning, but we'll see him anyway, and he may well greet us in Mandarin. His grasp of Mandarin, I always take great. Vitor. His fan club is in already. Morning, JP. I always take great comfort in the fact that Vitor's learning Mandarin, and it makes the whole challenge and adventure of learning Portuguese seem just that little bit more easy and palatable. I have tried to learn Mandarin in the past. It didn't go terribly well. I think he's doing a much better job of it. And your comments, let's come to your comments as well this morning. I hope you're well. Let me just click the switch that puts your comment on the stage. If you want to be immature and write an immature puerile message, you can do that now. Oh, Vieira already gets T-Duck's vote with the wine tap in every Portuguese home. Bom dia, alegria, Gumpers, you say T-Duck as well before the show began. And Matty's here as well. Bom dia, alegria a todos e feliz segunda-feira. Lovely way to start the week. Boa semana. Are you back home already? That's amazing. What a tour of the UK you had. It looked like it was great fun and very information rich. I think perhaps you'll be able to make a decision then. What was your favourite? Or more importantly, what was Kat's favourite? Yeah, Vitor, he's coming soon. Bon dia, Gumpers. I pray everyone is well and safe. Looks like the Gumpers closest to our hearts here are safe and well. But yeah, that was grim. And this weather is extraordinary. It happens. The way it happens, it's like a tap is turned on, not of red wine, not of Portuguese wine, but it's like, okay, flick the switch, and the water just falls out of the sky. It's incredible. Give the like button a gentle, a little warm with a nice rub, folks. Oh, Jackie, good morning to you. Chris here as well. Gemini, good morning to you. All bon dia todos from the coach as well. We'll see you on Friday, Coach. I hope you all had a great weekend. Saw a great Banksy exhibition yesterday in Kensington. Well worth giving him more money if you're in London. Gary Mills. Do we know who Banksy is yet? It's a team, right? Gary Mills. Morning, Gary. Great to see you here too. Bon dia. All back home in Wales. Weather finally, as it should be, with a bit of a nip in the air, autumnal weather, the traditional weather. For Wales this morning. And Philomena did seem to think that the weather patterns have been disrupted. Things have changed here in Portugal. Always had storms, of course, but the seasons are all wonky, or they're not as finely delineated, and there are many more storms than she remembers. I'm always sophomoric. I don't know that word, and immature. Yeah, you're in good company, I think, Tito. So let's have a bit of a nosy around Lonnie's exhibition as well. It looked like a very cultured affair, as you might expect. It was the bringing together, wasn't it, of two-dimensional and three-dimensional things of beauty. And Lonnie was kind enough to send me a video over the weekend, and we've got a video from Nick as well. What I'm going to do with Nick's video, and it was his suggestion actually, is we've got Where's Sarah, an occasional feature where we try and locate where Sarah Davy is of Spartan FX. We're going to do that with Nick as well. Beautiful new song from him, from his new album, and we can guess where he is in Portugal. Whilst we're waiting for those to load up, let's go to the Portuguese citizenship test question 55 then this morning. And let's see what this is, shall we? Sophomoric is as in sophomores of the American college system. They're the newbies, are they? I guess by definition the immature and uneducated one. Sophomores, you call them, don't you, in the States? That was last Fridays. I'm looking at Portuguese. There we go. You should be seeing that on your screen now. 55, everybody. What is the name of the famous tower in Lisboa, built in the 16th century? Oh, it has been published now. The wonderful video, even if I say so myself, that I recorded on Thursday evening with Expats Portugal. I'll bring this thumbnail up for that so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, which was a beautiful introduction to the history of Lisboa with my guest. Is it then the famous tower in Lisbon built in the 16th century? Is it the Belém Tower? Is it São Jorge Castle? Or is it the Ajuda Palace? The Ajuda Palace is fabulous. That was one of the earliest of tourist attractions that we went to when we were living near or south side of the water. Love the Ajuda Palace. Really amazing place to go to. Nice cafe too, well, not unsurprisingly. And a great part of town, of course, and that little botanical garden near there. I don't think that's the answer. I'm thinking it's A, personally. I didn't write these. I prompted AI to do them, and that's why sometimes they're a bit weird. but they generally make sense. That a thing that's been developing is it's as if AI knows how to write a trick question already, or there's a bit of hallucination going on. Sometimes there are two answers that could be correct. I think we're probably looking at A. What do you think this morning? And I'll put the link to that into the chat this morning so you can have a go yourself. Okay, let's go to the video then. Oh, Control V still not working. Got to do it that way. There you go. That's on your screen now. The link to the quiz this morning. Okay, let's stop sharing that and let's have a little nosy around Lonnie's video, and then we'll go to Nick's new video. His one of the songs off his new album, which is available on Bandcamp. He of course played for us live, didn't he, the week before last? Oh, and he's just he'll be playing. Delighted to introduce Nick to Rich, who's, of course, the co-host of our new music podcast, showcasing live gigs around the country and other music news. And Nick is booked to play at the Prohibition Bar in Obidos. That'll be a good evening. Right, up to Porto now, though. What a great buzz there. It was just like being at an art exhibition launch, wasn't it? The what's it called? Not the premiere evening. Anyway, the first night and the VIP gathering to successfully launch the show. Well done up there in Porto. And yes, the conversation that I mentioned, the introduction to Lisbon's past, what every newcomer should know about Portugal's capital. This was great, and this was last Thursday evening, now published on the Expats Portugal channel. If you're at all interested in Lisbon and its history, I suggest you take a look at that. Right, let's go to some music now then, and to Nick's latest gift to us. Great to chat with him recently. He's touring Portugal, of course, and releasing songs from his album with accompanying video from his tour. Where is he in Portugal?
I'm going down to the river, gonna throw my body in her. Ooh. Try to remember all that I surrendered. Ooh. Ooh. I got lost in the darkness of her eyes, lost in those pretty little lies. I'm gonna make my religion right here in my kitchen. Ooh. Ooh. we shared, lost in a place that was nowhere. Wash of water over me. Wash your water over me. Wash your water over me. I got lost in a place that couldn't be.
Isn't that great? Lost there from Nick. Looks like Praia de Gralia at San Martino de Porto. That's a good guess. I would have recognized that instantly. And I don't recognize, I do know, I just had a quick look at the message that Nick sent me. A standing cliff walks above, and he gives the name there. No correct guess yet. Photos are from my trip driving through Portugal 2025, featuring the song Lost from my new upcoming, recently released on all the usual platforms, but most importantly on Bandcamp there. So I'll put the link for that. Great song, Lost there. And absolutely, Gemini, some lovely lyrics there, and a love of the water. An ode to the feminine qualities of water, I think I discerned there. So there you go. That's the link for buying the album from Nick. Where is he? Do let me know. I think I need to put that up on our YouTube channel as well, don't I? So that you can watch that again if you would like to enjoy that once more and listen to it and take a guess, study the visuals further. So he makes a pretty good video as well as a darn good album as well, and he'll be playing around Portugal. Still looking for venues to play at. If you can offer him a venue, a place to play and host him, then do get in touch. I'm very happy to forward messages on to Nick Burrell. It was Ana Fernandes Pinto who was my guest on Thursday evening on the Expats Portugal webinar, talking about the secrets of Lisbon's past. By the way, do recommend taking a look at that. A few things on the picture deck as we wait for Vitor to join us this morning. Let me make sure he's got the link. Shall I? Yes, that might be a good idea. Apparently, he's been at a big real estate gathering, and he's got some great feedback from the course he co-authored, the 30-day European Portuguese Challenge. I hope he doesn't put me on the spot about that. This one, I think it's great, but I've been just so lazy on that just recently. But certainly the first couple of weeks I did were really helpful. I actually changed the game for me in terms of my conversational Portuguese. So I do recommend it to you. And if you're a premium member, you can just consume that at the Portugal Club as well. I'm just going to make sure he's got the link this morning. Yeah, he's not one to oversleep, actually. I'm sure he's been up and about learning his Mandarin and doing all Vitorish things that he does. Yes, some very interesting memes have been coming across my deck and pictures. With this new setup for StreamYard, it's very difficult to see what things are, especially when they're little graphics and maps. So let me just step through them and see what I've got here. Oh, this I thought was interesting as well. It looks like those car parkers also have to get in line, says Andre Ventura of Shager. I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. And he's having quite an animated discussion that I saw on X. Now, I think the car parkers, as long as they're sort of helpful and respectful, are a pretty good feature of Portuguese life. He's maybe referring to the more hassly and hustly ones, but I'm always happy to be guided into a parking spot and give the bloke a bit of loose change for the privilege. here in Portugal. And I think it's a great bit of free enterprise, is it not? Maybe Andre wants to do away with them and have them regulated. What do you make of the car parkers? I'll ask Vitor about that as well. This is a map of ancient. Before the First Crusade, I think was the title of this map. These were the nation states of Europe before the First Crusade. Look at that! How North Africa is coming into Europe there via Spain and Portugal. It's a nice looking map, isn't it? Looks like a really bloody time in human history, and turbulent. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's just how we've slanted it. Maybe it was. Yeah, I think it was probably more brutal than the time we have now. But I don't know. It was different for sure. I love these maps. I really do. And I'm beginning to think they're less and less reliable than I originally thought. In fact, I made my own tribute map. You can just put any number of countries and their flags next to them, make it look like it's an important bit of data. So I made my own spoof one, which is doing the rounds on X as we speak. This is nice to see Portugal in this light, as it were, walking at night. How safe is it to walk alone at night? And people feel safe, if not very safe, here in Portugal, walking at night. That's a good one. And 20 best countries for traveling alone. I guess that goes hand in hand. Spain, number one. It's an intelligent question, isn't it? Who is this data from? And did we just ask a backpacker we once met on a train for their list of 20? Or is there some serious data crunching going on? But anyway, an interesting, indicative, I think, and fair appraisal probably of what's going on in terms of traveling alone. I hope they did their due diligence and a little bit of research before putting this meme together, but you never know these days, do you? Grok, make me a meme that shows the 20 best countries for traveling alone, and you'll probably get something like this. Number 1 is Spain, 2 Greece, 3 Italy, 4 New Zealand. Sounds about right, doesn't it? 5 Portugal comes in at number 5. You've got Australia at 6, Thailand at 7, Brazil at 8, the Netherlands at 9, and Ireland at 10. I won't read them all out, but they all do feel and seem like safe countries. Let me know if you've travelled alone in any of those. And also, about how safe it is to walk alone at night. You probably haven't got much to say about Europe before the First Crusades. Not even the Gumpers are old enough to remember that. And look at this. If you've had to push a car with a dead battery, jump in, throw it in first gear and pop the clutch, you're part of the greatest generation. Yes, that's not going to be happening for much longer, is it? I have done that recently with my own car. Not recently, but it wouldn't start one day. And the lads who were sweeping the street and tidying the street up said, they helped me out with this. Jump in, let's push it, let's get it going. Just part of everyday life here in Portugal, helping people, helping people. And off I went. And I remember doing this for some kids once that were stuck in a traffic jam when I lived in Exeter. I saw they were struggling. They couldn't start their car. And I said, jump out a minute. Let me get in. Give me a push. I think they were in a traffic. They were holding up the traffic. So I said, look, let's get it out of here. Let's push it onto a part of the street here where we've got a clean run. I'll jump in, you give me a bit of a push and I'll get it started for you. And did exactly what I didn't have to push it and then jump in myself. That's pretty dangerous, isn't it? But I think 1 or 2 of you have probably done that. If not, had a mate push you. I definitely have stalled my car and had my mates get out and push me. But with these young kids, I did this and they honestly thought I was a wizard for starting their car. They couldn't believe it. I was like a superhero to them. It was clearly nothing they'd been taught to do as kids. But yes, salute you, Gen X, probably the great generation who knew how to jumpstart a car. Popping the clutch, I think, is what it must be called on the other side of the water there, transatlantic. You give car parkers money and they make sure your car doesn't get keyed. It's called protection. Oh, okay. I'm probably a little bit naive about that then. Okay. And I think there are probably more intense sites and where probably more car parkers are working in competition with each other than the nice guy near Caldas de Rainha station, perhaps, then, T-Duck. Got my first drumsticks this weekend. What? Might pick up drumming with age 55. I didn't think you were that old, Matty. Who said you can't train an old fart? A dog, new tricks. Nice one, Matty. I had you as younger than that. It must be your youthful good looks. And so you've always been a drummer and you're picking it up? You're getting back into it, or you're starting up a new habit there, or a new hobby, Matty, with the drumming? Let us know. Bon dia, Malta. I hope you all had a smashing weekend. A wet one for sure. Yeah, it was great, actually. Yeah, not so safe in the Netherlands, especially in the big cities. Lol. Oh, is this walking around on your own? I prefer second gear. Yeah, second is probably best, isn't it? I've pushed start. Cheers, Gary. I've push started a car many times. I'm that old. Yeah, but seeing that meme gives you a certain sense of satisfaction. It ain't going to be happening with electric cars, is it? Once they've stopped. I think, unless Matty you and Pete, who might be watching, know better. No, I never played an instrument ever. Wow! And you're going to pick up and play the drums. Fantastic. You've made a good start by buying some drumsticks. Have you got any of the other bits? Yeah, or not? Got my first drumsticks. You're gonna start with pots and pans at home then, maybe, Matty. You give the car parkers money, yeah, and they make sure your car doesn't get keyed. Okay, maybe I am being a bit too naive about that. That's amazing, Matty. Never played any instrument ever. Yeah, if you don't pay them, they key your car. Oh, that's not very nice. Okay, so Andre Ventura's onto them. If you've ever owned a motorbike, you've learned to bump start. So you do that with bike. I've never had a motorbike. Who here has had and hasn't had a motorbike? And I'm thinking probably it's too late now. No, it's not, is it? It's not. It's never too late. But I can't see myself getting on a cold and wet motorbike. I've been on the back of one. I think I rode a moped once, and across a freshly ploughed field. It felt like on a mate's moped when I don't know, must have been about 11 or something, and in the countryside, and on the back pillion on the A3 in southwest London on the back of my boss's bike, who gave me a lift somewhere, which is pretty terrifying. If your EV is on a hill, you can try and let it roll downhill using regen, but it won't get you far unless you're on the Serra de Estrella. Yes, going down from the top of the Serra de Estrella there. Okay, Matty joining us soon as well. Many bump starts. Oh, Henry's here as well. Good morning, Henry and Nina. Many bump starts years ago. Miss having a choke. A choke in the car at this time of year too. Remember them? Definitely, yes. Oh, pulling out the choke lever, or it was a pull towards you, wasn't it? And you have to remember. I think you could just tell by the smell of the fumes that you were probably choking the car a little bit too much. Why was it called a choke? What was going on there? Was it adding more fuel than you might have needed to get the party started? I bought one of our grandsons my first drumsticks. Now my son won't speak to me. That's the way to do it, Grandpa. Fantastic, excellent stuff. Right, okay. Let me just make sure Vitor. Oh, he'll be here in a bit. I also need. Oh, he's here now, I think. Some great feedback to share from the 30-day challenge. It works 100%. So I'll be sharing that in a little while. There is, of course, a new Fill My Cup this morning called Your Tribe, philmycup.com, PHIL mycup.com. And Phil and Kimberly have been busy promoting what they do best. Great people to hang out. I think if you want to give your life a bit of an upgrade from a personal development point of view, Phil and Kimberly. I mean, you can see what Phil's done to himself just recently, a bit like the Portuguese. There's a bit of a trend going on here, isn't there, of foreigners coming to Portugal. First of all, putting on loads of weight, and then for some, drastically losing loads of weight. What was it? 48 kilos or something that the Portuguese had lost when we spoke to him. And Phil had lost a considerable amount of weight as well. Find out how he did that at philmycup.com. Chokes, bump starts, checking for sparks, all great skills. You won't be needing them anymore. And Bob, bon dia, Carl, the choked off the air, allowing a bit more fuel. Okay, choked off the air supply there. Absolutely. to coach there, the chokes, the bump starts, and checking for sparks, all great skills. I didn't actually check for a spark. Closest I got to that, I think, was taking off the distributor cap. Or maybe giving the solenoid a tap with a hammer. That was another skill, wasn't it? And spraying the inside of the distributor cap with a load of WD-40, hearing a nice little bang, and then the car got started. Good morning. We have 3 workawayers with us. Shout out then to the workawayers for Hugh. at Quinta dos Tres Rios, 2 from France and 1 from New Zealand, looking to get some outside work done, and it's starting to rain again. I understood that Claudia had made its way north and we weren't going to be getting too much more of that, but it looks like it's here for a little bit longer. Let's give him a nice big round of applause and bring him onto the screen. Vitor Costa, our man in the north. Vitor, hello. Yes, you.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Tudo bem? How you doing?
Good. Good morning. I have the Zoom special outfit.
Oh, very good. Oh, I was so mad this morning. You've got this to look forward to. My son borrowed my shoes to go outside last night. With my advice, parental advice, don't go outside in the back garden without any shoes on. He wore my shoes, and this morning when I went to find my shoes, I couldn't find them, and then I could only find one. What's worse than no shoes? Kind of one shoe, right? It kind of adds insult to injury. How's your little lad and daughter? How's the family?
They're asleep right now, as you could probably tell, right? Everything is doing good. The younger one is getting a bit fussier and doesn't sleep as smoothly, but still a considerable improvement.
Happy times.
to what it was, right?
Fantastic. Oh, so glad to hear that. And all going well in your world? You've been at some real estate rallies. Is that what you would call them?
There was an EXP event in Porto, right? I did attend because recently, I've been a bit more in my own little corner, doing a bit of my own things, and so I was feeling a bit more kind of detached from the whole ecosystem. And then one of my colleagues mentioned that the event was going to happen, and I was just like, you know what, I should attend, and so I did. I mean, truth be told, the event itself, which it was a paid event, but not that much. It wasn't that the event itself was anything new or there was any kind of information that was game changing, but it was important for me to, get along with people again and become part of the community once again, and then start getting that momentum. And out of that, also, I've learned a few new tools to use in a different perspective and mindset. So for me, that's what counts.
Excellent. And if you wouldn't mind, we get a lot of we hear a lot about the agency in my world, not so much about EXP Realty. What is the USP of the EXP? How are they doing in Portugal?
Well, they're doing well. So there are a few things that I like about EXP here. One of them is that they've stopped basically aggressively expanding. So when they opened in Portugal, because they're relatively new, right? Portugal was one of the first countries to open internationally on EXP. And they started expanding more aggressively. They weren't as concerned with picking the country leader or anything like that, so they would just go along with whoever it was. And as a result, we started getting a lot of agents, but most of them aren't really performing. I remember that initially when I started working with expats, right, I would do a bunch of rentals, small things, maybe 500 euro total commission here, another one there. And then one day I earned I think second place in sales volume or something like that, which was great among 300 people. But then I was like, wait, how come I'm just having a handful of clients and I'm already number 2, right? That's something isn't right here. And so now they're not as aggressively hiring anymore. They are being more selective in the kind of agents that they allow in. Agents that start without experience, they need to have a mentor and go through a sort of a mentorship program so that they just don't, start paying the fees and whatever, and then let loose into the world. So I do like that. We have new leadership. We have an expanding team. We have more support. So that's all really cool. And I'm
I,
happy
I,
with
I
it.
was there at the start. I'm glad to hear that, and it sounds like they're in a consolidation phase, which I suspect all new agencies go through. I think it's quite important, isn't it, to get a few recruits first of all, and then find out what of the cream will rise to the top. So they're in their consolidation phase, and it was a very interesting mix, I thought, of traditional real estate and network marketing. Now, I know network marketing is a real Marmite approach to business and life, really. It
Mhm.
can be, it can be quite disruptive, can't it?
Yeah.
The pyramid scheme idea. All of life's a pyramid scheme. Let's face it.
Social
Even
security is a pyramid scheme if you think about it.
yes, the way we run our society at the moment is a little bit of a fiat-based pyramid, isn't it?
Yep.
With its own challenges, but it was very interesting to see a real estate company combining real estate with network marketing and the amazing virtual reality approach. You had like Minecraft for grown-ups in the back office, didn't you?
Well, yeah, and funnily enough, now that you mention it, one thing that the leadership did address while we were there at the event was that they did feel that there was a human component lacking. One of the things that we discussed in the event is that now you have all of the tools and the AI and whatever, but at the end of the day, real estate is about the people, and so there
Yeah.
needs to be the people connection, and that's why they stopped doing their meetings on EXP World, right? Which has also had a lot of changes, and they moved on to Google Meets because now they can see each other and all of that, and it's a different kind of connection. Now, me personally, the biggest offense that EXP World had is that it wasn't developed by someone who plays games. Okay, which means that the controls are all clunky and it's like you're driving a tank instead of driving a character,
Yes.
because instead
Yeah,
of
I
moving
remember
side
that.
to side, you basically wrote anyway. People who play video games know what tank controls are,
Yes.
and that's what EXP World was.
I remember I didn't take to it especially well, but it was ahead of its time, it would appear,
Yeah.
and it was a very brave effort to connect people virtually and in a virtual avatar form behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And I suspect it was a pet project possibly of the boss who thought it would be a great idea. Maybe a little bit too ahead of its time, because I think that's what's going to happen eventually, isn't it? We are going to be a lot more avatar based and in this sort of what was it called? Second Life. It was that what it was called? Second Life, the
Yeah, there
virtual
was a
reality
game
one?
called Second Life that
Yeah.
was kind of along those lines. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, me personally, I'm not sure if that will ever really be the norm, simply because of attrition, right? So people like doing things that are simpler, that are quicker, that are easier. It's much easier to go like on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you use.
Yeah.
You have your account logged in, somebody comments something, you leave a comment, that's it. You don't
Yeah.
have to walk to the place where people are talking about and then draw your comment or whatever on the wall or speak it. It's too
Yeah.
clunky. that
Yes.
that works if you're trying to make a sort of a game or some kind of fun activity, but for efficiency or for actual work, I don't think that will make a lot of sense. What the XP world could make sense to me is, for example, training, right? So instead of you having a Google Drive folder, here are the videos for the training or this web platform or whatever, it can make sense that you log in and then you have a special room with a training or a video section or whatever. And there you have maybe several different rooms. One is for, I don't know, how to handle contracts, other how to work with sellers, how to work with buyers, so on and so forth. Good morning, JP. How to work with those things, right? And then you can walk into the room that you need help with,
Yeah.
sort of like as if you were in a school, right? Okay, which
Yeah.
classroom do I need to go to? That can make sense because as humans, that spatial awareness can make it easier to organize and know where you have to go to learn and experience something rather than just clicking on files, right?
And it could be on demand, couldn't it? It could be open all the time. That would be the beauty of it, I think. That we
Exactly,
you
exactly,
you just
exactly.
draw down what you
Another
need.
thing I would use EXP World for, although not super often, is that if I needed to talk to staff, for example, or have some questions or anything about some process, they were usually there in the Portugal room. So I would just walk in there and take a ticket or whatever, just talk to them directly, and they were usually there. So if they were busy on the phone, they were at least available there. So there is something to be told about that.
Yeah. Ian Turner remembers being shown Second Life at Cranfield University 20 years ago and being told that it was the future of business. I didn't understand its relevance then, and I still don't. I think it will be one of those things, won't it, that we'll look back on and say, yeah, now I understand what they were saying. I think that idea is coming. For sure. Second Life is what they call the used bicycle section in Decathlon. But from Henry Jeffries here, a bit late today. Clearly, a sexist response from me then, assuming here, Nina, that was Henry talking about bump starts, miss having a choke in the car at this time of year too. Remember them. Apologies for that and my immediate assumption there. And you mentioned AI in real estate as well, Vitor. Any sign of that being significant and profound yet? I mean, I can see, having used some of these AI, I think they're called agents now, these agent-based websites,
Yeah.
that a lot of the heavy lifting and preliminary work of real estate will be done by robots, no question about it. Managing the database of, the MLS and the inventory, to
Right.
be able to. And I was really cynical about this. I tried it was like a business angel type website, and I wasn't looking on it specifically to get some support of that kind. I just wanted to try the technology and actually be quite cynical about it. I thought I was going to have a negative experience, and it would I suppose assist me in my prejudices about this sort of AI assisted consultancy. So I started off talking to a woman, a female voice, sounded about 30 years of age, saying, "Yes, hi Carl, tell me more about yourself and your project." And it was like, I was first of all like, "I'm talking to a machine. This is awful." And then I told her a little bit, and then she said, "Oh, that's very interesting. Could you tell me more about this particular bit?" And I did, and I found myself being drawn in and engaged by this, and by the end of it, finding it having found it a really useful process. So let me summarize then, Carl. You've been doing this, this, and this, and you're looking for this, this, and this. I'll see what I can do to help you. And I thought, hey, hold on a minute. This is the way real estate's going to go. If you just put in your criteria of what you want, that should be able to run up the people's requirements against the database and get back to them. And that's when the human being can step in, right? To deal with the human nuance, having had the robot crunch all the data.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And you touch on a great point. I don't know if you ever realized this, but in my opinion, the biggest thing that AI has over, for example, talking to a person, let's say, that makes it way more engaging, is that they always ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of this too, but when you're talking to someone and you're discussing some topic, usually it just, the person just replies and that's it. And then it's up to you to fill in the void, right?
Yes.
But with AI, whenever you ask AI to do something, then they will always follow up with, "Oh, would you like me to provide you with this? Would you like me to make a list of that? Would you like me to get some more data on this thing?" And that's what makes it more engaging, right?
Yeah.
Now, as for AI in real estate, like me personally, it depends on how it is used. I think when it is used to the benefit of the client, the person, whoever it is a good thing. But right now, I think we're going through a period of using AI for laziness.
Yeah.
And in my view, it can be a benefit for me, right? Because I do use AI for many things, but it depends on what you use it for.
Yes.
Like, as you said, it can be good for filtering, for selecting, for parsing data, analyzing things, but you always need to double check it to take a look, and it will never really replace the human component for the most part. What I mean by that is that at the moment, maybe one day it will, maybe within 2 to 3 years, It will. Some people have already started getting married to their AI partners, right?
They have. I heard people had kind of fallen
Yes.
in love, as it were, but there are now that someone has actually got married. Have they?
In a few countries, I believe there was one in Japan. I think there was probably some in the US. It is what it is, right?
Yes.
But the reality is, at the end of the day, we're dealing with real estate. You don't really trust a big transaction like this to be done by a machine that's not accountable, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But
And
the
a good
preliminary
point
work,
also
yes, yeah,
is I remember a few years ago, sure, AI wasn't as developed, but I know that a few years ago, Zillow, Zillow, that
yeah,
US
yeah.
platform, they had tried this thing where they would basically use their algorithms to calculate when a property was below market value and they would buy it for themselves. They
Oh,
ended up losing
interesting.
millions
Yeah.
because you can't just analyze property with statistics, which, by the way, I have some pulled up if you want me to show
Yes, I,
you
I
some
do,
numbers.
because
But yeah,
you've got a little bit of a focus on Braga, haven't you, and some price crunching you've been doing there. But did you say Zillow also, although that was a great idea to see the trends and buy beneath the market value, it backfired on them?
yeah, because they would basically, you have all of this data and these analytics and all of this information, right? And price per square meter. And so whenever they would detect that the property would be considered below market value, right, they
Mm,
would just buy it
right.
automatically. But the problem is some properties really were worth less than other properties.
Yes, yes,
And
okay.
so they couldn't sell them or whatever, and then they ended up with big losses. Because, for example, let's say that the average price of a house in Punta de Lima, right, is like 200,000, and then one pops up that's 150,000. You may think you'll buy it with 50,000 in equity already, but maybe just outside of a sewage dump thing,
Yes.
right? And nobody wants to live there, and it's in terrible condition. And then there's some structural issues that it's maybe going to collapse someday, and then they're going to build high tension power lines above it, and then the train is actually going to pass right through that property, so you will have to demolish it anyway. So, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. It just feels like we there. I take your point completely, and I agree with you that to survive AI, as it were, you need to rely on those distinctly, uniquely human aspects of ourselves, because we can be robotic and mechanistic as human beings, can't we? And the magic
Mhm.
of us, if you like, is where we are truly human and alive and in the moment. So that's the advantage we have over AI. But we kind of keep having to have that, don't we? Because as soon as you tell the AI it's near a sewage plant, it's like, okay, I've got that. I'll reflect that now. We're like working for AI in a way, aren't we? We're the ones gathering the data for
Of course, if it's free, you're the product.
yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So one thing I can say about that too is that there are two main things, right? We have efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is how well and fast and accurately and whatever you can do something.
Yes.
And effectiveness is that it gets done in a good way, right?
Yes.
The main difference is that AI is very efficient, but people need you to be effective.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People or some other book, but there is a section that talks about this, where
Hmm.
there was this guy. He realized that it was no longer going to work with his girlfriend, right? So he was a very efficient guy, and so he had scheduled 15 minutes to break up with her, and then he put all of the other things right on his schedule. As you can imagine, that didn't go along very well. So it took him well over 2 hours,
Yes.
or four, I don't remember which. But basically, the whole plan was messed up. So you can be efficient with things, right? And okay, I have these things to do. You can be efficient. You can schedule them. But if it's with people, count on being effective. Don't put a time frame and just sort it out. Sometimes Yeah, everybody knows that sometimes somebody needs something and you're planning on it taking 5 minutes and you're there 2 hours, right?
It's Portuguese life, isn't it? Sometimes, this is
That
this,
it is.
and it's an art form, and not necessarily an inconvenience. It's almost like poetry, isn't it? Rather than prose in terms of how Portuguese people live their lives. Okay, well, this has happened now. We attend to this, which I think is a great value. And the other thing about this thing about effectiveness and efficiency. Can you imagine that guy, scheduling 15 minutes to split up with his girlfriend? I mean, in his mind, he's like thinking, well, it probably only takes about 30 seconds to say that bit, and I'll allow another 14 and a half minutes to deal with it.
Yeah, I'll just be okay. Let's do the presentation here. So this is us, right? These are the things that are working, which are pretty cool, but these ones aren't working. So I guess our dating agreement here is over. I'm sure
Yeah,
you can agree. Yes,
yeah.
sir. I do agree. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
But imagine when he said, when it got to like 15 and a half minutes, and he said, look, you know what? I only actually scheduled 15 minutes for this. That probably didn't go down very well. Anyway, I doubt
No,
I doubt
it
they're
did
still.
not.
Okay. Is that Vitor? Can you confirm or deny?
Maybe.
Okay, JP uses AI for worldwide traveling. How, JP? Tell us more. I think Ray O'Reilly has been tagged on the show this morning. Good morning to you, Gina. Gina Fiore is here this morning, and Ray Riley might be soon as well. The comparisons AI can provide you on about anything you ask are remarkable. True. I mean, that's the heavy lifting it's doing, right? And we don't need to do that anymore necessarily. We just need to. We need to be the executives, though. I think, based on what's being returned to us, because we gave it that information in the first place. I'm learning to use as much AI as possible. I'm learning to make videos, and I love every minute. So you're enjoying your AI learning curve. There's also the question of trust, says Coach. Humans buy from other humans they trust. I'm not that convinced that AI can ever replace that. It replaces it for people who've learned not to trust, I think. There is that part of humanity, isn't there? It's like, I'm done with humans. I'll trust a machine instead. Wait until Elon's robot comes to the scale.
There's
Well,
already another robot that's already being sold for home use.
yeah. Gemini, definitely recommend a get up to. Maybe we need to do a little course on AI basics at the Portugal Club. I wonder. Yeah. Good morning to you, Gina. Before we deprive you of any more time talking about AI and distracting you like this, Vitor, we'll come back to the little focus on Braga, but a shout out here for the amazing Maria, your missus, of course, with whom you created the wonderful 30-day European Portuguese Challenge. It works 100%, says Wendy here. I just went to the hospital yesterday to follow up on an admin issue. While I am glad I remembered the phrases I had memorized in advance, the biggest highlight was when I could understand what was being said to me. And that I owe to the 30-day challenge, especially week 4. Well done, both of you. It's continuing to delight and assist people, right?
Yep. So we did all of those videos with the exact intent to get you used to the Portuguese language.
Yeah.
People can join our school community. I sent you the link in private if you want to share with people. If anybody wants to
Finding it
join.
now. Yeah, let me do that.
Basically, it's like $9.99 a month. You know how it works, but you are able to listen to those audio contents. And we chose some topics that most people use in their daily lives, like ordering food, scheduling an appointment, haircut, doctor, whatever, rescheduling or canceling, and other things like that. And the idea is that you get used to the language, right?
Yeah. I think I heartily recommend it. It did change things for me, and even with a embarrassing lack of continuation and commitment to the course, which is entirely my fault and responsibility, I still got a great deal of value, and I can come back to it at any time,
Of course.
as well. So it's always there, and you can draw it down as you wish. And you can jump straight in and get 30 days under your belt and get the sort of benefit that I and Wendy have got there. More talk coming in about AI. We'll return to your thoughts on that, everybody. JP, and that's not the one I was looking for. Mel, we'll come back to you. JP and Dusty Bin in a minute. Bon dia from Mel as well, and say good morning to you. Right, Braga then. Oh, and Adrian's here as well now. Braga, you've done a little bit of a focus on pricing there. What's going on up in Braga?
Yeah, so I've been taking a look at the tool that shows us actual selling data. I can share my screen if you want. You can show it
Yeah, go ahead.
on there as well.
Yep, there we go.
There we
Thank you.
go.
Yep.
So this is just to give people an idea of how things have been going here in Portugal, right? So very quickly, blue line is actual sold prices per usable square meter in the region of Braga. And the gray dotted line is the asking prices. This also means, obviously, that asking prices have been higher than the sale prices, and this is how many sales per quarter have happened in the district of Braga, right? Then it breaks down a little bit, right? A few notes that I wanted to show is that the absorption rate is 5 months, which indicates that the supply and demand are roughly balanced, right? Usually above 6 months of absorption rate, we're at the buyer's market. At around 3 months lower, we're at the seller's market. What this means, by the way, in layman's terms, is if no more properties came on the market today, at the rate that properties are being sold, we would have supply for about 5 months. So we could sell
Okay.
homes at the same pace
Yeah.
for about 5 months, and then we would run out. Okay.
Like capacity, market cap in a way, isn't it?
It's
of stock.
basically the stock we have,
Yeah.
right? How many homes are for sale, and yeah. And then, as you can see, right, so people often ask me, hey, can we negotiate, send a lower offer? Look, on average, used property, the asking price has been 2,330 euros per usable square meter. But the sales price has been 15% lower at closer to 2,000, right? And then here we have per property type, apartments, and how many bedrooms, detached homes, and how many bedrooms. As you can see as well, usually more bedrooms correlates with lower sell prices. Okay, per square meter, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Well, because there's less demand.
Not because there's less demand, but typically the bigger the property is, the less you pay per square meter, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
if you're buying a small apartment, it usually costs a lot higher per square meter because, I mean, it's still a house.
Yeah.
Look, so the price per square meter for a 1 bedroom or less is about 3,000 actual sale price. And it is, for example, a 2 bedroom or a 3 bedroom. It's just natural, right? So let's say, I don't know, 50,000, 50 square meters, right? If you do 50 square meters times the 3,000, that's already 150,000. For a 1 bedroom, yeah, it's higher than it was before. It's not super unreasonable, right?
Yeah.
If you were to put it at 2,000, it would be 100,000, which would definitely be on the cheap side. Does that make sense?
Yes. Got it.
So yeah, and then we have some more data here. This is more on the specific on the specific area of Praga. So obviously not as many sales because it doesn't encompass much. Also, 5 months absorption. And another interesting thing is that typically built brand new properties sell much closer to asking price. Oh, it's actually selling higher apparently here. So the asking price is just under 4,400, but the sales price is above it. Interesting.
So how's this helping you? This is helping you price for people and to see if they're getting a good deal.
Because this is actual real sold data.
Right. Okay.
So usually what happens is that, and I went through this with some buyers, is that they look at what's on the market. Everybody's asking for absurd prices, right? And so they want to put their property on the market for close to that or even higher because their house is better. And so this helps me show my clients that, look, I know you went to ask for 2,500 per square meter, okay? And maybe if that's all that's on the market, we can put the price to compete. But just so you know, we're probably going to close for about 20% lower than that because that's the actual sold price. The market will never buy a house above market price.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Okay, another string to your bow then. Link, please. I think this is a professional tool, is it not? People will have
It
to.
is. I
Yeah.
don't even know how I could get access to this if I wasn't with the XP.
Okay, so you'll have to JP call Vitor, and he'll work through some calculations with you there. And we
And
got
by
a
the
bit
way,
in.
this is Ponte de Lima. You can see here the absorption rate is 12 months. So it's a much slower market here.
That's interesting, but it's still. Yeah, I guess it's not as popular as Braga, but still very popular among people. You've been part of that effect, haven't you? And Bob
Yeah,
and Viv
of
as
course,
well.
of course.
Yeah.
It's about 25% lower the actual sales prices.
Right. Okay. I cannot tell you how many properties I put offers on, even full price, and the seller rejected and increased the sale price. Mel, with that particular challenge there. Thank you very much, Vitor. We've just come up to 9 o'clock. Can you just give me a couple more minutes while we review a few more of these AI comments from our
Sure,
friends here this
just tell me
morning?
what you need.
I think it's an amazing conversation that we're having, and it's all part of this interesting time that is unfolding in front of our very eyes. AI just one of the big phenomena of what's going on in the world at the moment, and that's why we're positioning ourselves next year as a 5-year run-up, really, to 2030. I think we're living in the most extraordinary times, and this is just one aspect of it. Yes, the comparisons AI can provide you on anything you ask are remarkable, particularly, says JP, on Airbnbs, I believe as well. That's where you're getting some good deals using it as for comparison there. Jackie's, I think Jackie's experiments with AI are very interesting as well, and her fears about robots, which we'll come to. Yeah, Gemini, we'll do more. We'll do more. We did do a little series on the impact of AI. We might have been a bit early on that. AI keeps changing its mind if you question it, and I did actually. It was funny. I was trying to find a quote. It was Ian McGilchrist. I listened to a podcast because I was including it in my resident column this week. Did he say uh, the opposite of conversation is war? No, he didn't. And then with further question, actually, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Although to be
Yeah,
fair, there was a
yeah.
little nuance in some of the words that were selected. It was very
Yeah, you need
literal.
to be very specific with what you tell AI to do,
Yeah,
because what AI does, just so people understand a bit more, is that by default, it just goes to publicly available data and widespread and consensus, and it just rolls with it. So, in other words, usually media reports, and I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on, you know that media tends to not be very objective with reality
yeah,
um, on both sides, right? So you need to be very specific with AI, like, hey, I'm asking you this, please don't try to guess. Give me just the data that you can find, what you can find, and ignore partisan opinions or whatever. I just need the facts.
yeah,
Or if you're looking for something in specific, again, ask it not to guess. Ask it to let you know if they can't answer directly because they don't have the information or whatever. Because what AI does is when they don't have the information, they will try to take an educated guess on what the answer could be,
yeah.
and that's not very helpful.
Then it's like a bloke down the pub, basically. No robots for me. I would have it rolling my smokes, then I would get nothing done. It's a vision of the future. Cerveja
Cool.
Vinha,
Yeah,
all I need. I think referring to the 30-day European Portuguese Challenge, there's a really lovely section in the course at the beautifully acted vignettes of asking for food and drink, which I recommend you. You've got access to it anyway, Ian, there, and you'll be delighted by your progress should you take a chance on that. Some call AI autonomous intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. Some AI responses are obvious nonsense, such as claiming Thomas More is an Orthodox saint. Well, there you go. Yeah, B&B's there for that's what JP's using AI for with that research. I trust Vitor. We all trust Vitor. It's turning into a political rally here. AI isn't intelligent, it's human programmed, and that's where the intelligence comes in sometimes. And then JP ominously says, for now, Jackie, chatbot. Chat GPT, OpenAI got 4 new legal battles against them recently because it encouraged people to end their lives. This is why I tell folk only use it for what you need on screen, not in your life. AI is great for all sorts, but it's not a therapist or a counselor, and this is where many get lost in it. Yeah, kind of tells you a lot about humans, doesn't it? Yes, you'll need to speak to Vitor about that sort of research that he was doing live on the screen for us there. Thank you very much, Vitor. This tool is fine for the mass market. How could you apply this to Quinta dos Três Rios? That's where the human nuance and expertise comes in. You're absolutely right there, Hugh. Simply Life Mail, have you heard that many, many times seems like a big game many times? Not sure what you mean there. Vitor, do the clients listen to you? Question from
Sometimes.
Jacob.
It depends. Usually the buyers listen to me a lot more than the sellers do, I'll be honest.
Yes. If you don't like it and have consequently haven't, I don't like it and have consequently haven't bought anything. Okay. Fatima is here as well. Good morning to you, Fatima. What does AI say about the Portugal real estate bubble many of us are waiting to burst? Well, I'm presumably you've done your own search there. Would you care to comment on that, Vitor? Just got itching his chin. When using AI, avoid using negative prompts like do not and avoid this and that. Instead, add more info about what you do want. That's like life advice, though, isn't it? Talk about what you do want rather than what you don't want. Negative prompting or promoting causes hallucinations occasionally too. Also, life advice for human beings. If we talk about too much about what we don't want, we can hallucinate ourselves into an altogether different future. I think we're going to have to leave this Portugal real estate bubble burst hanging there. Maybe we'll pick that up next time with you, Vitor.
About that, by the way, I'll
Yeah.
just say this.
Go on.
Again, I don't remember which book it was, but somebody said that the media has accurately predicted 17 of the last 2 recessions. So AI can only take an educated guess, but we never know what can happen tomorrow, right? So maybe next week we'll figure out that there's actually a secret layer of lizard people that are living under the ground and are just started to invade the world through Portugal, and then all real estate goes down to zero because everybody's trying to flee this alien invasion of sorts, right?
Yes.
Who knows? But it is true. Like if you looked at that data, prices have gone up quite a lot. And I believe Portugal is the only European country that is still showing a consistent increase in property prices. But again, especially like I showed in the Braga situation, which is the third largest city in the country, we have an absorption rate of 5 months, which indicates that the supply and demand are kind of balanced, right? So I don't know. Like ever since I started on real estate, I kept having this feeling that it feels like the market might collapse anytime now, but it just kept going up.
Yes. So I think we can get a better sense of direction than we can of date, can't we? The thing about, I was saying this, my Louisa is much more conspiratorially minded than me. And is more cynical, more suspicious, I suspect, than I am. Well, that's my opinion on it anyway. And I think she's always right in the end. But while she's been certain from the get-go, I've been able to be optimistic and free in the meantime, if that makes any sense. There is that, isn't there? And we can, as human beings, I think, get a sense of the direction of travel. But prediction is a fool's errand for sure. And in the meantime, we just need to enjoy our lives, do we not, Vitor? Thank you for being brilliant this morning, as ever. And we'll see you again next month. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Your week. A big round of applause for you. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you read.